A good Erev Shabbos. Approaching Parshas Emor. Parshas Emor. As Mayor wants me to say, because he loves when I say this is not what I intend to talk about. But I just want to make a quick point. For the fact that I always had a problem with this story, it shows how right the Chafetz Chaim is in the story I'm going to say. Clearly, the Chafetz Chaim is more right than I ever thought, because I always argue on this story. And why do I argue on this story? Rav Shimon Schwab, look at that. I'm going to be quoting him 3 times today. Rav Shimon Schwab was a tremendous Rav. He died a number of years ago. He was of German descent. My Rebbe, Zol Gesundsein, met him once under very, very trying circumstances. And Rav Schwab, my Rebbe schmoozed, and my Rebbe said that Rav Schwab was an incredible lamdan. Now, my Rebbe saying that about someone of a Yeki German background, it's a big compliment. Rav Shimon Schwab is massive, major. He was born in Frankfurt, Germany, and very unusual for a boy that's born in Frankfurt, Germany. He and his 2 brothers, they went over to Lithuania and Poland to go to the yeshivas there in Lithuania and Poland. Interesting. That would be like a boy going straight out of like a Syrian school to Geschmacka Litvische joint like Or Shlomo. Yeah? So, that takes a man. So Rav Shimon Schwab went all the way from Frankfurt, and he went to the Mir Yeshiva. Mir, where all the Gedolim were learning before the war. Big stuff. One Shabbos, he decides he's going to go away for Shabbos from the yeshiva, and he's going to go to the Chafetz Chaim for a Shabbos. Now, I can't even imagine what that would be like. You read stories. There's a 5-volume biography. That's only one of the many biographies of the Chafetz Chaim. 5 volumes of the Chafetz Chaim. Unbelievable person. Chafetz Chaim. He goes to spend the Shabbos by the Chafetz Chaim. The Chafetz Chaim died in 1933. So this must be before that, 1930, early 1930s. And he goes there. My Rebbe, his father, Yaakov Meshach Shurkin, Zechat Tzadik Livracha, learned, and it was also Rabbi Yanofsky's father's Rebbe, Yaakov Meshach Shurkin, and he learned by the Chafetz Chaim's yeshiva in Radin. He learned there for 16 years. My Rebbe always emphasizes 16 years and did not miss a Seder. 16 straight years, did not miss Seder once. I mean, he didn't miss a day of yeshiva. And Talmud Tzemach, the whole year, 16 straight years, did not miss it. By the way, my Rebbe emphasized also, 16 years, it meant he was there first Seder, second Seder, night Seder, but he never learned after night Seder, never learned before night Seder, before first Seder, because he wanted to make sure he never missed. 16 straight years, and even though he learned every 16 straight years, when my Rebbe would ask his father for a story about the Chafetz Chaim, he didn't have any stories. He was there learning. Oh, yeah, stories. But Rav Shimon Schwab went to the Chafetz Chaim for one Shabbos. Is a book worth of stories. And this is one of those stories, one of the more famous parts of the story. When Chafetz Chaim sees Rav Schwab, the Chafetz Chaim says to him, "Can I ask you, my friend, are you a Kohen?" So Rav Schwab says, "No, I'm not a Kohen." So he says, "Why not?" So he says, "Because my father's not a Kohen." Oh, I understand. This is the Chafetz Chaim we're talking about. And why wasn't he a Kohen? Because his father wasn't a Kohen. And why wasn't he a Kohen? Because his father wasn't a Kohen. Now, at this point, he's confused. He's thinking that it's a very strange story, the Chafetz Chaim. But Baruch Hashem, he knows he's in a story that can be written in a book, so he's very excited. So he says at that point, obviously there's Shiva, the Chafetz Chaim is trying to tell me something. And the Chafetz Chaim says to him like this. The Chafetz Chaim says, you know why all of them weren't Kohanim? Because my Zaidi, Chafetz Chaim was the Kohen. My Zaidi, my great-great-grandfather, when it came to the Egel, my great-grandfather, they all Shevet Levi, the whole Shevet Levi, they joined and not one of them sinned by the golden calf. And then they stood up to defend the honor of Hashem. And that was my great-great-great-grandfather, and not yours. And that's why I'm a Kayin, and you're not. Now, the Chavetz Chaim was not one who was there to brag. He was emphasizing something, that a person has to be able to stand up to the call, Moshe, of Mil Hashem Elai. Who is with Hashem? If you're with Hashem, let's stand together. And the Chavetz Chaim said that. And I've always been bothered by this story. Kayin, I'm not a Kayin. Obviously, I'm bothered by this story. I'm always bothered by this story because you know what? Come on. I'm descended from Kahanim too. Like, my mother is a Bas Kayin. So, like, I'm connected there. And I try arguing, and no, because why is the Chavetz Chaim? Because really, I come from, obviously the Chavetz Chaim's right. Being Kayin is better. Why in the world am I arguing so much? I'm not obviously arguing so much because I wish I was a Kayin. Like, I would be great if I was a Kayin. The Talmud Kohen gets to be a Kohen. Shua Katz gets to be a Kohen. Well, no. I'm stuck here. Baruch Hashem, after having these horrible feelings of insecurity and inferiority, I had learned the Sefer last night. It's only a Chatz Nechama, only half a consolation. My wonderful Zaidi B'nai Yissaschar, who is also not a Kohen, he has a Sefer, and in the Sefer, Agad Kala, he writes over there. In the beginning of this week's parasha, we know a question. I said this earlier. It says, "Vayemer Hashem el Moshe, Parshas Emor, HaKadosh Baruch Hu spoke to Moshe. Emor al Kehanim, say to the Kehanim b'nei Aaron, the sons of Aaron. V'amarta aleim, and you say to them, Nefesh lo yitam ba'amav, don't become tamei, no getting in touch with the dead." Everybody asks a question. That's a weird sentence. Emor al Kehanim b'nei Aaron, say to the Kehanim, the sons of Aaron. V'amarta aleim, and you say to them. You just told me to say to them. What do you have to say? Say to them, say to them, say to them. Say to them, you know, Yoav, you know what you should do? You should go home and tell your mother. And you should go home and tell your mother. I just told you to tell your mother. Why do I have to say it twice? Emor al Kehanim b'nei Aaron. Say to the Kehanim, the sons of Aaron. V'amar to them, you should say to them, don't become tamei. Tell them. That's weird. So my Alter Zaidi gives the answers, tons of answers to this question. You know what he says? He says like this, says the B'nai Yissaschar. He says, because you have Netanel Cohen, and Netanel Cohen's going to say, who got the Aliyah today? Who's going to be doing Birchas Kahanim? Who's the bracha go totally through? Shua Kaz is going to say, you come to the Beis HaMikdash, you better hook me up with some truma, or you're not going to get a good spot in line by the karbanis. You can go to the back of the line. You got to make sure to take care of Shua. Shua gets good vacation twice a year to be able to go to the Beis HaMikdash. Yeah, they're going to be nice and arrogant. So my Zaidi says, the first thing you tell the Kehanim is, Emor al Kehanim, tell the Kehanim, B'nai Aaron. It wasn't you who accomplished this. You got this because you're a son of Aaron HaKayin. Aaron was a great person. He accomplished massive things. And you're his son. Don't take so much credit for yourself. Like we learned today, of the Midah of today, and of the Memches Kinyanim Dashater, Niknas Bam, day 29, is Al Tachzik Tov Atzmacha. Don't take so much credit for it. If you didn't do it, don't take so much credit for it. You're like that wonderful song in Marvelous Miss Machine. What's the song? If you're stronger, smarter, beautiful, it's not because of you. All the goodness that you have come from above. And Anav knows that Hashem has given him the gifts of love. Right? You know that it's a gift that you got. If you're stronger, smarter, beautiful, guess what? That was not from you. And if you're a Kayin, remember B'nai Aaron. I got it from Tati. So you can take a lot of pride in it. You can take a lot of kavod. And I adore you guys because you have what I can never get. But at the same time, remember, it's because you had a Zaidi. His name was Aaron Akai. And I named my son after your Zaidi because he's so cool. But B'nai Aaron. B'nai Aaron, remember, you got it because of him. It's an important thing to remember. At the very, very end of this week's parasha, Rav Schwab says two divrei Torah, which are seemingly totally unconnected. It's two separate pieces in the Sefer. But it's like, after I saw both pieces, I was shocked that he didn't put them together, first of all. But how important these pieces are. There's a story in the end of the parasha, which is a very sad story. There was a fellow. We don't have a name for him. This guy, he curses. He curses Hashem. Says not nice things. Vayetze ben Isha Yisraelis, a Jewish kid, son of a Jewish mother. V'hu ben Ish Mitzri. He had a non-Jewish father. B'soich b'nei Yisrael, vayinotu b'machne. They got into a fight. Ben ha-Yisraelis, v'isha Yisraeli, the Jewish kid with another Jewish man. Vayikov ben ha-isha Yisraelis Hashem, vayikala, he cursed Hashem. Vayaviu ha-Yisrael Moshe, they brought him to Moshe. V'shem imo Yishlomis bas Divri l'matei dan. Okay, what's the story about this kid? Very quickly, we know Moshe Rabbeinu, when he was in Mitzrayim, there was a fight between a Mitzri and a Yid, and this Mitzri is beating this Yid, and Moshe Rabbeinu sees what happened here. What was the story? This Yid was married to a lady named Shlomis Bas Divri, and they lived in the house, and Shlomis Bas Divri used to wave to everybody outside the house. Hi, hi. She was waving, she was a nice lady, always waving, talking to all the guys. Okay, probably not as bad as that. The person who's talking to all the guys, probably a big loser. But she probably wasn't doing that. Shlomis Bas Divri, she's waving. One of the Mitzri men was attracted to her. He goes in there in the middle of the night, sneaks in as if it's the husband. Obviously, he felt this would work, and he ended up having a child with her. And this kid in this week's parasha, in Parshas Emor, was the child of that union. Child of that union. Now, why did he curse Hashem? So Rashi brings three different approaches. First approach just says, where did he go out from? Yatsa mi'olama. He went out of his world and he cursed Hashem. I don't know what that means. Second pshat is, he came out after seeing a very strange sight. He saw that the Jewish people have the lechem hapanim, which Baruch Hashem, we finished Maseches Menachos today, stuff. But he saw that the Jewish people had the lechem hapanim, and this lechem hapanim, after a week, after 9 days, after a week, they take the loaves, the lechem hapanim, and they give them out. And he said, that's hilarious. You give bread out in the Beis HaMikdash, in the Mishkan, you give bread out after you've had it in there for 9 days? You give old bread to Jewish people? What kind of pathetic people are you? Yeah, you give fresh food to people. You don't give some old food to somebody. And then the third thing that possibly he said was that he had come to live somewhere in the Jewish encampment, and he said he wants to live by Shevet Dan. They said, why by Shevet Dan? He said, because my mother is from Shevet Dan. They said, well, this goes by father. You can't live here if your father's not from this Shevet. He says, but my father wasn't Jewish. Well, they said, goodbye. And he went to court, and he lost in court. Asks Rav Schwab two obvious questions. Question number one, hello, he doesn't say like this, but hello, there's a pasuk, va'ahavtem es hager. He's not even a ger. You just send him away because his father's not from your shevet? Have a heart. Give him some room. Like, move over and give him some room on the sand. Oh, it's so hard for you to give him a spot? Why are you not giving him a spot? And number two, the lechem hapanim, he was making fun of it. Do you know when they took out the lechem hapanim to serve it to the Kohanim, before they took it out, they showed it to everybody, and everybody saw how fresh and hot it was. So why in the world is he making fun of it? It's old bread. It's as fresh and as hot as it was when it went in. Good questions? Two questions. He complained because of one of three possibilities. One possibility was he made fun of lechem hapanim because he said it's old bread. It's not old bread. It's fresh. It's a miracle. How come you're arguing that? And the second problem is he wasn't getting a place to live among Shevet Dan. Why wouldn't Shevet Dan be nice? Why don't they want to host him? What kind of losers are they? Chas v'shalom. Says Rav Shimon Schwab in his first piece. He says exactly like this. He said, you know what it means? The first part, the first reason he went out, that he cursed Hashem. He was yatsa me'olamai. It means he gave up. He gave up. He had a bad life. His father was this. His mother was that. He's a big complainer. He's a big moany, groany. He gave up on Yiddishkeit. Yatsa me'olamai. He's done. He's done. Went to Minus. Became an apikaris. He's not interested. Says Rav Shimon Schwab, you know why he didn't appreciate the miracle of the lechem hapanim, the hot, fresh bread? Should I tell you why? If you're chas v'shalom, a person's an apikaris, he can't see a miracle like that. You're not going to be able to see it. So he came out. Everyone's there. He's showing the hot bread. Rav Schwab said he could not see the miracle. If a person's an apikaris, he's a denier of God. He's a non-believer. When he comes out, even if something is obvious, it doesn't register. It doesn't register. He could not see it. And therefore, you know what happened? He started complaining about it. How can you have this old bread? And they said, oh, you don't see it? I don't see anything. What are you talking about? Can I live in your neighborhood? No. You're not because who can't see an obvious miracle? No living in my neighborhood. And that's the explanation of all three pshatim. Yatzamer Elamai, he went out of his world, meaning the world of Yiddishkeit. He did not appreciate Lechem upon him. And number three, they did not let him live in Shevet Dan because they saw what type of guy he is. That's the first piece of Rishon and Schwab. Fine. Second piece, David, listen to this. The second piece is much more important. He asks the question. Moshe Rabbeinu, the later in the Psukim says, Moshe Rabbeinu did not know, Chaim, what to do to punish this guy. He did not know. He had forgotten the halacha. You ever hear this? Moshe Rabbeinu forgot a halacha. A few halachas in the Torah, Moshe Rabbeinu forgot. This is one of them. Asks Rav Schwab, why did he forget this halacha of all the halachas? Isn't that a good question? He did not know the halacha, what to do about a person who curses God. He did not know at all. You kill the guy, you don't kill the guy, what type of execution? No idea. What do you do with this guy? Listen to this pshat. You have a good memory? For the most part. Yeah? You follow baseball? Basketball? Any sports? Basketball? What team do you like? The Knicks. Who's the point guard? Jalen Brunson. Thank you. Jalen Brunson, yeah. Small forward? Oh, yeah? Do you know? Yeah? Wow. Their record in 1979?
I wasn't even alive.
And? Oh, I used to listen to this radio program. From these guys. Mike and the Mad Dog. You ever heard Mike and the Mad Dog? Mike and the Mad Dog, the Fan, WFAN. You listen to that. You speak to them. The guys would call in. All yeshiva guys would call them. Only yeshiva guys. They call Mike and the Mad Dog. And you tell them like, hey, Mike, how you doing? You hear them on the radio. And Mike's like, yeah, what do you want? So he says, hey, I think the Knicks are going all the way this year. They never had a record like this. He's like, no, actually, in 68 and 69, they did much better than they're doing right now. And later on in the season in 72, and you're like, what in the world? What in the world? And the next guy calls up, and he's like, well, Mike, what do you think about the Mets this year? The Mets are making it. Nah, they did this exactly the same thing in 84 and 85, and now when it comes to 86, they finally won, but 87, they crashed and burned, right? Yeah. The Mets. What's the deal? Where does it come from? Where does it come from? Says Rav Schwab, where does memory come from? He says memory comes from the ability to imagine it, to see it. If you imagine it, because that's what he always say, I remember I was there. I haven't missed a game in 40 years. I was there. And if I wasn't there, it's imprinted in my mind as if I was there. You have these guys, they go to baseball games, they bring their own scorecards with them. You ever see these guys or no? Oh, these guys, they sit there and they're marking strike, hit, ball, pass ball, okay, foul tip. They write it all down. You're in it. You're in it. When you imagine it and you can see it for yourself, it becomes real to you. You'll never forget. You'll never forget. Today happens to be, I'm not going to talk about this right now. Today happens to be that about 9 years ago, I got into a terrible car accident. Baruch Hashem, mamish a nes, and Hashem saved me on Pesach Sheni. Mamish today, my car broke in half, and Hashem saved my life. And I could assure you, I remember every moment of that scene. I remember the turn, I remember the smashing straight into a truck, I remember my car bending, and I remember getting up and walking out and standing there, and nobody understanding how I was still alive. That was today. When you imagine a scene, thank you Hashem, when you imagine a scene, you can always remember it. Says Rav Schwab, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu a halacha. You know what the halacha is? He told him a halacha that if a person curses Hashem, they get X, Y, Z execution. And Moshe Rabbeinu could not even imagine it. Cursing Hashem? Cursing Hashem? I can't imagine that. I can't see that. And therefore he couldn't remember it. You hear this pshat? Is that a master pshat? Is that that is amazing. I saw this last night. I mamish thanked Hashem that he created a Rav Shimon Schwab in the world just for this pshat. He could not remember a halacha because he could not imagine a person ever speaking to Hashem like that. He couldn't understand why. Why couldn't he imagine? He couldn't imagine it. And therefore he couldn't remember the halacha. Hashem had to remind him. You know what you're supposed to do now? You're supposed to do this type of execution, this type of... Don't these two pshatim go perfectly together? The guy, on one hand, the cursing guy, he couldn't see the miracle of the lechem upon him. Because he can't live in that type of world. I can't live with miracles and God. And whenever something special happens, I make a joke about it. I can't take it seriously. And Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't imagine the opposite. Somebody starting up, cursing. He can't even remember what you're talking about. You come to him, like certain people, there are people like this, big tzaddikim. You come to them, you say Lashon Hara, and you come to them later. What? You told me something? I have no idea what you're talking about. One time there was an event. They were honoring, they had Reb Shmuel Birnbaum, Zechatzaddik come speak. So beforehand, they went to Reb Shmuel and they said, is it okay if we speak about the Rosh Hashiva to introduce him before the speech? Sure. Anyway, the person gets up, there's Shiva, he says a whole story. I remember the story, a whole magnificent, miraculous, amazing story about the godless, the greatness about Reb Shmuel Birnbaum. Okay? And they said, now, it's our schus to call up the Rosh Hashiva. So Shmuel gets up, and he goes up, and he starts talking. Somebody came over to one of Shmuel's sons, and he said, I'm so surprised that Shmuel was just sitting there while the guy is listing compliment after compliment story. It's so unlike him. He said, I promise you, the Rosh Hashiva didn't hear a word. Not a word. Somebody came over to me afterwards, the Rosh Hashiva, he said this story. Who said what? What story? He didn't hear a word. He didn't hear a word. Like, why would anybody be talking about me? I'm not part of that. I'm not part of that. Not part of that. Are we at that point? I'm not part of that. I'm not part of this week. We had a huge Kiddush Hashem in Yeshiva 2 days ago. A huge Kiddush Hashem. Mamish, a huge Kiddush Hashem. We all know what I'm talking about. A huge Kiddush Hashem. People in Yeshiva, a huge supermajority, filters, parental controls, unbelievable. Person came over to me afterwards, straight into my office, put parental controls on my phone right now. We did it. We did it. Another person wanted to adjust it on his phone. We did it. Amazing. But some people, they don't even know what I'm talking about. They don't even know what I'm talking about. Instagram. There's a problem with Instagram. What? What could be a problem with Instagram? Snapchat? What? I don't know what you're talking about. What? Why is it weird to have someone stalking me full time so they can have my location and I'll take pictures all the time? Right? Some people are totally gone. Totally gone. I'll tell you the truth. Listen to this. Somebody got in touch with me yesterday. One of the chashuv people in Yeshiva got in touch with me yesterday and he was very bothered. Why was he bothered? He saw an Instagram page. And on the Instagram page, there was a video of me. I'm so popular. That's all I took out of it. But it's a video of me on the Instagram page and somebody else in Yeshiva. And it says something not nice about me. I don't know, I guess so. It's there, and it's a video, and this, okay. And there were comments on it, and this, and that. And like he very much wanted to protect my honor. I'll tell you the truth. I didn't see myself as being put down at all. Like, I don't know, I whatever, this type of stuff, it doesn't even register. But what did register is that people, apparently, what do I know of Instagram? Apparently Instagram, you can comment on things. Comment on Instagram. Somebody posts a picture, you could comment on the picture there. Like, it's one thing to have Instagram. There's another thing, you want people to know you have Instagram. You're okay with that? You're okay with people knowing that you have Instagram? Like if you want to be like a weird, anti-social type of person who has difficulty making relationships in the real human world and being part of Instagram, so you have to watch other people's fake invented lives. So maybe that's one thing. But you want people to know how socially strange you are, that you want to only engage in social interactions that way. That's what you're looking for. Like at least hide it a little bit. No? Sounds like a good point, no? Like hide. Honestly, I'm being totally genuine. There's a Gemara. The Gemara says if you're going to do an Aveira, so dress up undercover. Go do it on the cover. You go to a place and you hide. But a person's not even going to know. Not even going to know. You agree? There's something there. Something there. A person uses Instagram to publicize information. Okay, gesundheit. A person uses it as their only form of social interaction and they're going to comment on it. I don't know. I feel like I'm not sure. Maybe I'm going to give myself covenant. Maybe I'm the Moshe Rabbeinu in this story. Like I'm totally lost. I don't even know what's going on. But I have the feeling that certain people are like the other side. Not Chas Shalom in this yeshiva. But certain people on the other side, like Lechem Aponim. There's a miracle going on there. You hear my question? You're awesome. You're awesome. You don't even have Instagram. You don't. Mazel tov. You're mazel tov. Yeah? This guy doesn't have Instagram. He's already, he says, oh, Instagram, was ist das? Say Instagram, was ist das? Say Instagram, was ist das? That's what we're going to say. Bez Hashem. You know, I tell you the truth, when I say V'lam al Shinim every day, V'lam al Shinim al Tihisik, V'chol Risha, V'chol Risha, V'chol Risha, you know what I think when I say V'chol Risha? I think all the people who invented Instagram, V'chol Risha, and I think, I'm being honest, Instagram and Snapchat and YouTube and iDaven and TikTok, iDaven V'chol Risha Kirega Toivid in an instant. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should wipe them out. The people who invented it, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should wipe them out. That's what iDaven for. And Be'ez Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should mekayim that. The second Instagram is gone, is the second Mashiach comes, hopefully earlier. Be'ez Hashem. Everyone should have a beautiful Shabbos.